Emek, yay! Woo! Oh, yay! Emek is here! Hooray! Yay! Emek is here!
When I was in freshman year of high school, I had an English teacher named Miss
Yes,
Dillon.
English teachers, yes.
English was one of my favorite subjects, so I already knew that she was going to be my favorite. But Miss Dillon, she was different. You can tell that she was young, maybe like a couple years out of college, because she got along really well with our younger generation. But I think that's what made her stand out as a teacher in my eyes. But what made her really special was she had a lot of passion for teaching. She was really sweet. She cared a lot about her students. She was like that teacher friend that you could go to outside of class related things. I constantly went to her for like recommendations on books, and she would recommend me her favorites. We kind of like formed a connection through that. It was like more of like I saw her as like a friend more than like a teacher. Of course, she was still a mentor to me because she was my teacher, but I really loved her because she believed in me. She was always proud of my work. In high school, I grew up very humble. Like I was a good student, but I never thought my accomplishments were really special. But she would constantly praise my hard work. She loved my essays. She would recommend writing programs for me to attend. She encouraged me to apply to many different colleges. But what made her the special teacher that she is in my mind is this one day in my freshman year of high school. It was the last day of school, and I had gotten a call from my mom that my sister was in the hospital, and it was really, really sudden, so I was like really anxious, really nervous. But my mom had called the school to let me out early, and I remember it was during my lunch period, so I had ran to my locker to pack up my things, and Miss Dillon's classroom was right next to my locker, so she had seen me, and she came over to say hi. But when she saw my face, she immediately knew something was wrong. Because I can't really hide my feelings as much as I try to. Like you can just see it on my face. So she pulled me to her classroom, and she just like let me talk. I was just ranting about my worries about my sister. I felt very vulnerable in that moment, but I felt safe, which I really appreciated that she let me feel that way. So we had a long talk, and afterwards she could see the state that I was in, so she offered to buy me an Uber home. And that gesture, like it was gratuitous and it was small, but for 15-year-old me, it felt so huge. I was very, very grateful. And when I got home, I wrote her a long email thanking her for the ride and just thanking her for being such a special teacher. I feel like that day kind of changed our relationship from one of student and teacher to something much deeper. I felt like in that moment she cared a lot about me, not just as a student, but just as a person in general. And I think in school settings, it's just so important to have that kind of connection because it just reminds you of the support that you have outside of your home, outside of academics. And yeah, so she was really special. Miss Dillon and I, we continued our connection throughout high school, even when I wasn't in her class. And on my graduation day, she gifted me a special poetry book that got her through her teenage years. She congratulated me for graduating, and she encouraged me to like never stop following my dreams. And I'm always reading that whenever I need a reminder to do just that. And yeah.
Thank you. Miss Dillon. If you had to do it in one sentence, she was a great teacher because?
Because she cared about me more than just a student.
Cared beyond the normal. And was this here in the States or was that in Turkey?
No, it's in New York.
And do you remember any books that she recommended to you? The names of any books?
There was this one book that I was so obsessed with, The Secret History by Donna Tartt. And it was just a random book, and I got really obsessed with it because she recommended it to me. And like it made me want to keep reading and writing. And like that book really changed my life. Even though the book is like, I don't know about it now, but in the moment, it really made my life.
How'd she handle that question, guys? Like, right? Like, really, really, really smooth. Yeah.